been doing an author study, and you've been reading books by a certain author. You read one book, and it was called Frederick. Do you remember who wrote that book? Someone want to tell me? Xander? Need some help? Ian, do you want to help him out?
Yeah. He likes animals. He likes to write books about animals.
Okay. Do you remember his name? What's he? Okay. Well, the author of the book is Lionni. And we're going to read another book by Lionni. And while I'm reading this book to you, I'm going to ask you to make a couple of predictions. Does anyone know what a prediction is? Adrian?
It means you're checking understanding.
So you're going to try and figure out what is going to happen by the end of the story or later on in the story. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's get started. Fish is Fish by Lionni. At the edge of the woods there was a pond, and there was a minnow, and a tadpole swam among the weeds. They were inseparable friends. This is our first prediction. By the end of the story, how many of you predict that the minnow and the tadpole will stay friends? Okay, that's a lot of people. Well, let's read on and see what we find out. One morning, the tadpole discovered that during the night he had grown 2 little legs. "Look," he said triumphantly. "Look, I'm a frog." "Nonsense," said the minnow. "How could you be a frog if only last night you were just a little fish,
pardon the interruption.
just like me?"
Around 8:30, PTO members will come through your room to get any awesome Autumn Fling wristband money if that has not been turned into the office. So please be prepared that there may be some PTO members coming through your rooms in the next few minutes. Thank you.
They argued and argued until finally the tadpole said, "Frogs are frogs and fish is fish, and that's that." In the weeks that followed, the tadpole grew tiny front legs, and his tail got smaller and smaller. And then one fine day, a real frog now, he climbed out of the water and onto the grassy bank. Do you still think that your prediction's going to come true? Who thinks your prediction's still going to come true? Does anyone think that your prediction isn't going to come true? Jordan, why don't you think your prediction's going to come true?
Because they were all green.
Okay, let's see. The minnow, too, had grown and become a full-fledged fish. He often wondered where his 4-footed friend had gone, but days and weeks went by, and the frog did not return. Then one day, with a happy splash that shook the weeds, the frog jumped into the pond. "Where have you been?" asked the fish excitedly. "I have been out and about the world, hopping here and there," said the frog, "and I have seen extraordinary things." What do you think the frog saw while he was on land? Jacqueline?
Trees.
Trees? Anyone else think of anything different? Ollie?
Sand. Sand.
Okay. Anyone else think anything? Adrian?
Grass.
Grass? Okay. Let's see what he saw. "Like what?" asked the fish. "Birds," said the frog mysteriously. "Birds," and he told the fish about the birds, who had wings and 2 legs and many, many colors. As the frog talked, his friend saw the birds fly through his mind like large feathered fish. "What else?" asked the fish impatiently. "Cows," said the frog. "Cows. They have 4 legs, horns, eat grass, and carry pink bags of milk." "And people," said the frog. "Men, women, children." And he talked and talked until it was dark in the pond. But the picture in the fish's mind was full of lights and colors and marvelous things he couldn't sleep. Ah, if he could only jump about like his friend and see that wonderful world. And so the days went by. The frog had gone, and the fish just lay there, dreaming about birds in flight, grazing cows, and those strange animals all dressed up that his friend called people. One day he finally decided that, come what may, he too must see them. And so with a mighty whack of the tail, he jumped clear out of the water and onto the bank. What do you predict will happen to the fish if he jumps onto the land? Serenity?
Die.
Why do you think so?
Because fish needs waters.
Anyone else think anything different? Tyla?
If fish jump in the water, if fish jump on land, they'll die and they'll get dropped.
Okay, well, let's see. He landed in the dry, warm grass, and there he lay, gasping for air, unable to breathe or move. Help, he groaned feebly. Luckily, the frog had been hunting butterflies nearby, saw him, and with all his strength, pushed him back into the pond. Still stunned, the fish floated about for an instant. Then he breathed deeply, letting the clean, cool water run through his gills. Now he felt weightless again, and with an ever so slight motion of the tail, he could move to and fro, up and down as before. The sun rays reached down within the weeds and gently shifted patches of luminous color. This world was surely the most beautiful of all worlds. He smiled at his friend, the frog, who sat watching him from a lily leaf. You were right, he said. Fish is fish. So, we're going to go back to the first prediction that we made. Did your prediction about the fish and the frog staying friends come true?
Yes.
Yes. Were they still friends at the end?
Yes.
Why were they still friends? Jacqueline?
I think we like each other.
I think so too. Do you think the frog was a good friend to the fish?
Yes. Yes.
Why do you think so?
Because since the fish jumped out and he couldn't breathe water, the frog helped him to get back in the water.
That's a good thing. Friends helping friends. So did you like the story that we just read?
Yes.
You did? What was your favorite part?
I do not.
Serenity?
When the frog saved the fish.
I like that part too. Angel, what was your favorite part? The same? Anyone else have a different part they liked? Deshaun? No, we don't. Okay, how about Adrian? Do you have a favorite part?
The frog said frogs are frogs and fish are fish.
Xander, what's your favorite part?
Same as a tree.
That's right. So we learned from reading this book that you can be friends with anyone, no matter how different they